Okay, guys, how you been? Did you all miss me? No? Well, I didn't miss you either. Anyway, this is my continuation of the theory. Now, mind you, this is a theory of future people. Now, you've all heard my other discussions about future people and all that stuff, but I'm going to take it a little step further this time. I almost knocked over my guitar. Geez, if I knock over my guitar, I won't be able to write any more songs. Okay, anyway, so the future people theory, I think you watched my last video where I gave the future people theory. Okay, now, we want to get into another topic, which is time. Time. You know, we're born, and then we live, and then we die, right? So we think of time as going from here to here. But if you watched my last video, you would know that all time is one. One. 1,000 years in the future or 1,000 years in the past is all one. Now, mathematicians know this. These theorists who are much smarter than me, they know that all time is one. Okay, like, let's put it into concept here. You are born in the year 1980. You live and you die in the year 2073 or something. I don't know. And so there is a beginning and there is an end to life, to your life, right? Okay. Now the universe, the entire universe works the same way. Like if you go back to the Big Bang Theory, pow! They say there was a big explosion, right? And then you go right to the end of the universe and it collapses, and apparently, according to some people, it comes back upon itself and boom. So that's the end of the universe. But you see, the life of a universe, of our universe, is much the same as the birth of a child and the death of an old person living their span. So, our universe, let's say it exists in this part of time, this much time. Now, time, this is where things get interesting, because before the universe, there was time. There was things that happened before our universe came into existence, and after our universe ends its life, its birth and its death, just like a baby, after our universe ends its time, time still keeps going. So time goes forever this way, and time goes forever that way. Now, that is how you have to look on time. Okay, now, technology. Technology in the universe of our time, of course, we start way back here, and there's cavemen and stuff, and then we end up here at the end of our universe, and there's super technology which we don't even know about right now. So we think that technology goes this way, that we learn how to fly, we learn how to send radio communications, we learn about computers and all kinds, and then there's millions of years, billions of years to go, and who knows what we'll find, right? So we look at time of our universe in this thing. But meanwhile, there's forever this way, and there's forever that way. So, in those terms, technology, the technology that we think only goes forward, I'm sorry, my friend, but technology, how can I put this? Technology is something that we look as it gets better and better as we go into the future. And we don't look on technology as something that gets better and better as we go into the past. But in the big scheme of time, and now I want you to remember, all time is one. Like we think of time as a step, but it's not. It's all time is one. One great, big, huge, freaking thing that goes forever that way, and it goes forever that way. That is real time. And technology is just as good over there as it is over there. It is no better going forward than it is going backward. Okay, I'm hang on a minute. The hard thing to grasp here is that all time exists at once. So there is no better, there is no worse. It all exists at once. We as physical human beings see things hour after hour after hour after minute after second. But that is not the right way to look at time. The right way to look at time is forever this way and forever that way, and it is all happening at the same time. Now that's what's hard to grasp, and it's people think I'm crazy. Yeah, well, maybe I am, but all time happens at once. So there really is no past. There really is no future. There is only what the physicists, the Einsteins of the mathematicians, they realize this. They realize that all time is one thing, and it goes forever. Now you ask, okay, well, our universe hasn't been around forever. Well, hold on. Like I told you earlier, a baby is born, gets old, and a baby dies. A universe is born. The universe gets old, and it dies. However, during that time that it is alive, lives forever. It never goes away. That universe might have a trillion-year lifespan, but it is always there. And there are other universes, not just our own, that are doing the same thing. And they may be 100 quadrillion, trillion, zillion years that way, or that way, and technology is just as good over there as technology is over there. Okay, so now you come to see what I'm kind of talking about. I'm saying that all time is one thing and it goes forever in both directions, okay? You got that? That's a hard concept to get, but all the mathematicians and all them guys, they know all that stuff. I'm just trying to put it put it simple, you know. Okay. So if all time exists at once, that means 20, 30, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90,000 trillion years in the future, people, if they're still around as people, they might be around as some entities or something, but let's say they're still around, they're living their life just like you and I are living our life right now, and they are there. And same trillions of billions of millions of zillions of trillions of years that way in the past, there's also stuff going on, you know. So everything is existing at once. That is the thing you got to get into your brain. Everything exists at once. And God, by the way, is a being who is all that is. All that is. Because a God can be a God can be not separate from a creation. A God has got to be all that is. And, well, that's beyond me. You guys have your own concept of God sitting on a throne or something like that. But my concept of God is all that is. That is the only way to be a true God, is to be all that is. So, he's got a lot of work on his hands, or she, or whoever. Okay, now, okay, so you guys get the concept of future, past, present. It's all one. It goes forever this way. It goes forever that way, right? We all got that in our heads now, right? Despite the crazy thing. Now here's where things get interesting. There is such a thing called a probability. Well, a probability, like, let's start with a simple one. I have a choice right now to point my finger up in the air or to keep my finger down. Now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I have a choice. Should I put my finger up in the air or should I keep it there and not put my finger up? Now this is all happening in time, right? So let's say I don't want to put my finger up in the air. So I just sit here with my fist clenched and Now, that becomes my reality. I look back and I say to myself, I did not raise my finger up in the air. And that becomes my life, which I remember. I remember that on such and such a day, I did not raise my finger up in the air. However, there is such a thing called probability. And in probability, if I go back like a minute ago, I did raise my finger in the air and I went like this. And now, you know what happened there is a probability happened. What that means is that I had two choices at this point. I had the choice of keeping my finger down, or I had the choice of keeping my finger up, and I chose one of them, and whichever one I chose became my history. It became the history of my life. Like if I look back in a month, or so, I will remember, okay, on such and such a day, I didn't raise my finger, or on such and such a day, I did raise my finger. And you know what? That becomes my history. That is what I remember. That is what I remember about my life. So, now the way probabilities work in all this whole situation is we make choices every second. Every second. Should I scratch my chin? It's kind of itchy. Should I not scratch my chin? I'll wait a little while and I'll scratch my chin later. So, as we go through the way that we look at time, we make choices. And the choices that we don't make also happen. Now that's the key point. The choices that we don't make also happen. The choices that we do make become our memory. However, the choices that we don't make also happen. And that is what is called a probability. And so at that point in time, when you make a choice, should I raise my finger or should I keep my finger closed down? A probability is happening. And you are going to choose one of them. You are going to choose the closed fist, or you're going to choose this one. And whichever one you do not choose also happens. So from every second of your life, when you make a choice, a probability occurs. I don't know how to say this exactly the right way, but the memory that you have of your life is of all these tiny, tiny little choices that you have made moving along your life, going up and down. However, within every second, within every millisecond, you have had the choice of making a different decision. And this is where it gets creepy. Guess what? That decision you did not make also happened. And that person is the probability. That person living that which decided not to put up their finger, which decided to keep it closed, split. It kind of went like this, boink, boink, and that person is living their life. So now you think to yourself, okay, there's two of you. Now this is where you really have to think, and this is where people call me crazy, but you split. In terms of probabilities, you split like every second. So all the choices you have made in life have been little splits, the left road or the right road. And you took one, you went this way, right? And so that becomes your memory, and that's what you remember. But what most people don't realize is at that point right there, there was also another path taken, and that path went there, and then it had a choice to go this way or that way at some other decision. So what I'm trying to tell you here is there are billions and billions and billions and trillions and zillions of choices that you have made in your life, and you have chosen, you have gone a certain way, and that is what I call propensity. Is that how you say it? Propensity? A propensity for a certain direction. So your character, your being, your entire, the way you think, it has a propensity to go certain ways. It has a propensity to swim in a certain direction. Same. Now, but there are other parts of you that have a propensity to swim in those directions. And now this all gets, so there's billions and trillions of probabilities that are happening as we're traveling through this time system. It gets very, very complicated. Luckily, I kind of understand what's going on. Well, I don't know what to tell you anymore, but this is part 2 of my future people theory, and I will probably come up with part 3 in the next little while. But for now, I hope I've given you something to think about, just to think about. See you guys later. Bye.